I am like, well, what if I have to change and go back? Then I'm gonna have to come to them and say that I failed and da 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 da. Y'all, some of you have your potential on lock, meaning that you are aware of your capabilities, but your usage of those capabilities are limited.
You actually was a part of a program where God just really seeded this ministry in me.
Let me tell y'all something. I done found me a keeper.
I want to be honest in that. So,
what's up, my good sis? Welcome back to the Women Alike podcast. This is your host, Coach NaQuandra, and I'm excited to get into this episode tonight because, well, actually, I'm not too excited because I have decided I'm going to share with you some details about my life that I have been reluctant to share. And I will also tell you why I've been a little reluctant to share it. But first, I want to get you prepped because we have 4 more months of 2023. When I say this year has gone, it has gone, ate and left no crumbs. And I hope that your year has been productive. We said at the top of the year, in 2023, we are making forward movements only. And I hope that you have been doing just that, whether they're small, tiny, or gigantic steps. As long as they're in the forward direction, you are doing great. So as we are capping out this year, we got 4 months left. Our motto is unlock and access. Unlock your potential to access prosperity. And when I talk about prosperity, I don't want you to cringe, because we know we got people who are calling out pastors and prophets and leaders for being prosperity teachers. But when I speak of prosperity, I'm not talking about just your wealth, your money. I'm talking about prosperity in your mental health, prosperity in your spiritual health or development, prosperity in your relationships, prosperity in your mindset, just prosperous all over. And our scriptural basis for this motto, this movement, as we take on these last 4 months, is John chapter 10, verse 10, where it says, I have come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. I want the abundance of life. Recently realizing that there is a curse of poverty on my bloodline. We cannot have it. I want the abundance that God has for me in every aspect of my life. I want you to reach in and grab the abundance that God has for you in every aspect of your life. So you are unlocking your potential to access prosperity by expanding your capacity to be more, to receive more, and to produce more, producing for yourself, producing for the kingdom, and producing for other people. Period. Unlocking and accessing. So let's go deeper into that just a little bit. So the purpose of unlocking things is to gain security of something, for safekeeping, for privacy, or to limit access to something. But when we unlock something, you are gaining access to the thing. So as we prepare and make headway into 2024, we got to unlock, we got to gain access to the prosperity. Your potential is you having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something for the future. Some of you have your potential on lock, meaning that you are aware of your capabilities, but your usage of those capabilities are limited. You are not using your full capacity. I don't know about you, but when I pass away, I want the Lord to say, well done. I don't want him to ask me what I'm doing with all this baggage that I brought with me in heaven, because what good is the skill of extortion in heaven? What good is the skill of communication in heaven? What good is the skill of hairdressing in heaven? What good is prophesying in heaven? We won't need none of that. We will have the King there for us. We will have everything we need. Our hair will be laid and slayed. We will be in good mental health. We will have all the wealth that we need in heaven. So while we're here on earth, we are to pour out the skills, the gifts, and the talents that God has for us now, so that we don't go to him before the throne with our hidden talents. So these 4 months, if you have been, you got to stop psyching yourself out of new opportunities because of your insecurities. You cannot hide your talents. You have to do away with procrastinating if you haven't already. But I'm hopeful that you have been battling these things. You cannot accept complacency, your space of comfort. I hope that you haven't already. You got to be accepting to feedback. You can't reject constructive criticism. When people are giving you that type of criticism, it's normally to help you be better. You can't run away from challenges, and you got to address your stubbornness if you are stubborn. I remember years ago working in restaurants. I had a general manager who was very close to me. He trained me so well, and a lot of things that he taught me in that role as a manager. As I was a manager, he was training me in that role, and then just training me up as a woman. And still, he said, "You are stubborn." Like he said, "You are hard headed," and I took offense to that. I was like, "What you mean I'm hard headed?" He's like, "You are hard headed, but it's in a good way, because when I tell you to do something, I tell you to do it a certain way, you make sure it's done that in that specific way." And so when someone tries to come and alter and change the way I've taught you, you don't detour from it. That's how we need to be with God. When God trains us up in a certain way, we need to be so stubborn and hard-headed that we don't detour from what God has called us to do. So don't be stubborn. Address your stubbornness. So in order to unlock your potential, you need to do the opposite of these examples. To access your prosperity, you need to steward well over your potential. To steward means to manage it, to tend to it, to care to it. And you do that by doing your homework, by understanding your insecurities, where they came from, using your talents, planning and executing efficiently. These are the things that you need to do. And we started this process in the community where we had our Plan on Purpose gathering, where we literally went through a whole empowerment. We did venting, we did praise reports, we prayed, and we went through and filled out our calendar for September. If you're on YouTube or Spotify video, you can see we filled out our whole planner for September. Listen, you can go on thepurposeplace.com right now and download this template if you need a calendar to use. But we went through and did that together as a community for accountability. We got accountability partners for the month, and we are ready to go. Planning and executing, being efficient, stewarding over our potential well. Come on. So September, our motto is jump. For the next 4 months, we are unlocking the access. September, we are jumping. Jump unwavering in the miraculous provision of God. J, jump. U, unwavering. And then we got in the M, miraculous. P, provision of God. Period. So I want you to take the risk. I want you to grow in your self-confidence, your Godfidence, knowing that in everything that you can't do, He can do. I want you to go by faith in all that you do, period. So here's what I wanted to tell you, what I've been like battling with telling you. And I probably hinted on it in a few episodes, but I just want to be outright and say it. And the reason why I haven't said it is because I am like, well, what if I have to change and go back? Then I'm going to have to come to them and say that I failed and da 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 da. Y'all. So June the 6th, 2023 was my last day working a 9 to 5. I decided to quit my job and not go back because, I was a school teacher. And so we had off for the summer. So I decided, I was like, you know what? This is going to be my last year teaching. I am finna just get out here and jump on this water because I need to fully submerge myself in the field that I'm passionate and anointed to be in. Because as I was working a 9 to 5, it was so hard for me to find balance or either some type of defined structure to where I was not exhausted, burnt out, and depressed. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to submerge myself into the place where I'm anointed. And I was like, you know what?
Hey sis, I hope that you're enjoying this episode. If you're looking for community, download our app to get into the room. See you soon.
How dare I'm 29, gonna be 30 in January, don't have any kids, not married. So I'm just like, I have to at least try. I have to put myself out here. I have to try so that I can say that at least I did it. I don't want this to be another regret or I wish I had of point in my life. And I really feel like God is saying to me at that time where I was making this decision that I could stay teaching and be successful in that, or I could jump into this field in entrepreneurship and be successful in that. I believe that I'm graced right now to be successful in either area of my life. One of them is more comfortable. One of them is a safer option. But I'm like, no, I'm going to take this risk because I have to build wealth for my family, my children, my children's children. I have to fulfill the assignment on my life. I have to empower. I want to equip. The desires of my heart are not mine, they're of God, and I want to fulfill them. So I decided to leave my job June 6th, and I've been reluctant to like say out loud on a podcast, on YouTube, or whatever. I've told my friends, but because the fact of what if I have to go back to work because I don't make the money that I need to make, because I don't meet the goals? Like, what if I have to do that? And then I have to come back on here and say, guys, I didn't make it. I have to go back to work and blah, blah, blah. And I know it is going, if that happens, child, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm not even going to say what I'm going to be. I'm just going to say, I don't know what I'm going to do. Just use your imagination. But I'm unlocking my potential to access prosperity so that I be used at maximum capacity, taking the risk in what I feel led to do. That's what 2024 is about, unlocking and accessing prosperity in every aspect of our life, and it's going to come with you taking risks. So I need you to jump unwavering in the miraculous provision of God. You got to have the audacity to jump. I told one of my friends, and she was like, girl, I can't believe you had the audacity to leave your job. I said, girl, I can't believe I had the audacity either. So you got to have the audacity to do what it is that's on your heart to do. No matter if it's at a 9 to 5 and you're going for a new position or whatever, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It could be something small to other people, but it's gigantic to you. Right? So it looks different for your life. Somebody could be like, girl, it's not that deep. Listen to what I'm sharing. But for me, it's a leap of faith for me. And so I want to encourage you to take your leap, take that risk. You are unlocking your potential and accessing the prosperity that God has for you. And that starts with you taking risk, whatever that looks like for you. And so in Luke chapter 14, we got to go to the scripture again. Luke chapter 14, verse 28, it says, for which of you wanting to build a tower doesn't first sit down and calculate the cost to see if he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, after he has laid the foundation and cannot finish it, all of the onlookers will begin to ridicule him. That was my fear, saying that this man has started to build and wasn't able to finish. That's my fear, that if it doesn't work out, that people will look at me and just be like, I knew she wasn't going to do it. I know it wasn't going to work out. Right? And then having to deal with those thoughts in my mind all over again. Listen, I'm equipped for the battle, but I'd rather not have to fight that type of battle. But it says basically to count the cost before you jump into something. So as you're taking your risk, count the cost and consider every possible outcome. I have considered every possible outcome. And there's 3 outcomes for me. And either one that is either outcome that is a result, I'm cool with it. So in you taking your risk, count the cost and be okay with the outcomes. So for me, I took the leap to get out of my comfort zone, which was my 9 to 5. I'm taking the leap to get out of my comfort zone and to fully walk in entrepreneurship, where that's my desire. And so I just encourage you to do the same thing. Have the audacity, count the cost, and rely on God for the shortage, because he will provide. We are jumping unwavering in the miraculous provision of God. That's his ability to provide and support you. And he is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you could ask, think, or imagine. I'm not sure if any unbelievers listen to my podcast, but yield your life to him if you haven't, and jump. Jump, sis.